Hello, all you beautiful people! Today we're doing another Q&A. Before we start the Q&A, I have a really exciting announcement. I'm releasing a new album called The Merry Mercenaries Volume 2. These tunes are for a group called The Merry Mercenaries. They are a Dungeons & Dragons streaming group on Twitch, and I highly recommend you check them out. They're super cool, really fun group of people. This album has some of my favorite music that I've written to date. It's got 11 tracks on it, ranging from full orchestra, action music, kind of more romantic music, solo guitar, band. It's just got a little bit of everything, and I'm so proud of it if you can't tell. If you like what I do with these videos or with music, I hope you'll consider at least checking out the album. I have 3 tracks available to stream, and if you choose to pre-order, you'll get to download them immediately. I have a discounted price right now for $7. When the pre-order releases, it's going to be $10. All of these sales really help me out to continue allowing me to write music, and it also goes towards supporting the Merry Mercenaries so that they can continue doing what they're doing on Twitch. That's it. Enough talk about money. Who wants to talk about money on YouTube? And with that, I think they're ready. Alright, let's get this party started, shall we? I'm gonna do something new this time, which is I'm gonna read the names of the people who asked the questions, because I think that's fun, don't you? J. Rose Ham says, have you ever played in any bands, as in regular non-symphony orchestra bands? Yes, I have. I played in a jazz trio in high school, and then after that, I played in a metal band in high school, and then in college, I played in a neo-soul hip-hop band called Broca's Area, and then finally I played with a singer-songwriter named Griffin Anthony. Jojo Le Pianiste says, can you do a boogie woogie solo? Oh, you bet your boogie woogie I can. I thought J4 Cod says, who's your favorite YouTuber other than you, Frank, or Marcus? Well, one of my favorites is Nerdwriter. He does like video essays on YouTube, and I think he's just so elegant with the way he presents them. Other than that, I really like Jack Conti from Pomplamoose. And I just got into Chris Ramsey, who does like puzzle solving and magic tricks, and Frank's into him too. So I recommend you check him out. He's kind of up and coming now. Username says, how'd you meet Frank? I met Frank on a rainy day over a bridge at the Art School of Music. We'd recognized each other from Facebook. I had an umbrella and he didn't. He invited me to go jam out in the Art School, so we went to a piano and we played Time from Inception. It was the first thing that we played together. And it really gelled. Like immediately as soon as we met, we wound up playing really well together. Freddy Gamer 11 says, are you a pianist since what age? I started taking lessons when I was 7 years old, but I was kind of noodling on like toy xylophones and stuff since I was 3. Actually, I have, this is my original toy xylophone. This is the first instrument I ever played on. It's professional grade. This cost about $2,000. What I used to do is write sheet music on pieces of paper and just write little blocks that had the color for the note that I was playing. Or at least that's what my parents tell me I did. Varish Ordo says, how many instruments do you own? And tips and tricks for self-teaching piano, I'm too busy to teach my. Or tips for This is 3 questions, Varish. How many instruments do I own? Probably over 30, ranging from large instruments to instruments that could fit in the palm of my hand. Tips and tricks for self-teaching piano. I'm gonna apply this to both piano and composition because I think they require similar disciplines. Be honest with yourself about the things that you're good at and the things that you're not good at, and really focus on those things that you struggle with. From having taught a lot of students, people like to feel good when they play, and they feel good when they're playing things that they're confident about. And while that's great, and it's fun to be able to do that, I think it's important to be able to hone your own weaknesses. So whether that's, man, I have a great ear, but I struggle with time and playing to a metronome. Focus on that, because your ear was not going anywhere. You know, it's a skill that'll stay. Max Pedersen says, from where do you get inspiration? Smiley face. You know, inspiration comes and it goes. I think it's important to not need to rely on inspiration. So sometimes I'll get an idea and it comes out of nowhere and I'll write the whole piece in 10 minutes and like, what just happened? But most of the time, it's me sitting and working through the nitty-gritty of writing music. That being said, things that inspire me, I really like nature. I love films. I do read a little bit, not as much as I used to, that sort of thing. Harrison Newberry Chun says, how do you make your songs sound so realistic? What plugins? Thank you. I appreciate that compliment because a lot of work goes into it. I have a bunch of plugins that I use. I'm just going to list them in the description so that you can see. They're all great plugins. However, you can make not great plugins also sound very realistic by being aware of how musicians play their instruments. So, quick example. Strings, they take some time for the note to sound. So when they make a note, they don't just come right in on it typically. You're going to hear a little bit of an ease in. Whereas brass, they blow, so you have pa. So you actually have the attack of the note happen first, and then the note kind of decays. So when you're writing for those different instruments in MIDI, you're going to want to use your mod wheel or whatever you're using to control volume to reflect the different attacks for those different instruments. I'd recommend studying the orchestra, listening carefully to the orchestra, and also trying to replicate spaces appropriately. So if you have 100 musicians, they're not going to be recording in a room like this. They're going to be recording in a large space with a lot more reverb. Whereas if you have a solo guitar, yeah, they could record in a space like this and have, a lot less reverb. So try and imitate the space and then focus on making them sound realistic to how they actually make music. Brian Lai says, did you go to the same college as Kyle Landry? If so, then do you know him well? I did, and so did Frank. We both went to the Hart School, as did Kyle. I met Kyle a couple times. He seems like a really cool dude. Frank got to perform with him a little bit more and meet him for longer because he knew of his stuff. But I have met Kyle, and he's an awesome dude and very talented. J. Rose Ham again says, am I a lefty? Let's see. Well, your Paper Mario icon is facing to the right, although that would be his left for him. So I'm gonna say Tetris Shifum says, will you marry me? Well, I'm gonna have to make a quick call about this.
Hello?
Hey, Nat.
Hey.
It's over.
What?
It's over, sorry. I found somebody else.
Okay.
Theo says, which are the most difficult classical pieces you've played? Whoa. Well, define played. I've tried to play Rachmaninoff's Prelude in G minor. That's a very hard one. I played the whole Rhapsody in Blue, the solo piano version, and that's really hard, especially the part that's like... Yeah, I'm going with that. Snow Sterling says, what's your favorite childhood movie? Well, I just watched Hook with Natalie. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. Wait, I have to get something off my chest. Wait, ow. If you've seen Hook, do you think it's a good movie? I'd like you to comment that in the description because I saw on Rotten Tomatoes it got like a 27, 26. I think it's a great movie. I've always thought it was a good movie. And the whole time we were watching the movie, I'm like, this is not a 27% movie. This is like a 107. No, this is like an 80, it's in the 80s or something. It's a good movie. Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Julia Roberts, is she in that? It's a good movie. Hook's one of my favorites. Kiba K says, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? You guys, you guys are giving me hard questions this time. I think I would have said, especially to like high school, college Zach, don't feel guilty about doing what's right for you. I think I had several situations where I'd felt certain ways about the situations that I was in. Like, my heart just wasn't into something, or I just really didn't feel like doing something. And I used to make up a lot of excuses or just be silent about those situations. And that would cause problems later because then I would finally decide to speak my mind and it'd be like, why didn't you tell us sooner? Or why didn't you really tell us how you were feeling? And they'd be right. They'd be right. I wouldn't communicate my concerns about things soon enough. So I think it's really important to be in tune with your needs and to project those needs outwards rather than just thinking about it for yourself. You need to communicate with people, especially people that you're close to. And so I've tried to make a change in my life where I'm more honest about the way I feel about things. And it's made me so much happier. So much happier. I get my needs filled by other people as well as being able to fill the needs of others. So that would be my advice. Whew, that got real. Okay, moving on. Nandang says, do you like Pokemon game music? I do like it, except for Nwat Town. I think that's a stupid piece. And if you disagree with me, comment. Samick Pie says, do you own a saxophone? No, I don't. Sorry. Arshvir says, Q&A setup tour? I will probably do a setup tour, but I think because this video is getting long, I'm going to do it in a separate video. Aaron Smith says, what kind of piano do you use? Because I have a small keyboard and was hoping to upgrade it. I use a Yamaha CP33. I don't think that they make that piano anymore, but they do have similar models available. John Timothy Cruz says, what time is it? Well, it's time for this. Okay, that's gonna do it for this month's Q&A. I know those were a lot of submissions. I hope you enjoyed the answers to these questions. I really appreciate you sending your questions in. If you have more, leave them in the comments section, and I will get to them in the next one. I'll try to do one in the next 2 months. Again, hope you'll check out The Merry Mercenaries Volume 2. See you in the next video. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna finish this coffee. It's mostly water.